this is something you always say, we need to become first century Christians again. That we're in the 21st century. What did they have that we need? But I'll tell you, a strong relationship with the person of Jesus Christ.
Yep. And so many people come to faith by studying the church fathers.
Amen.
I encourage everyone, study the fathers of the church in the first, second, third century.
Well said, Bishop Strickland. Thanks again for joining us, folks. Remember, this show is going to be archived. Share it with your friends and family. We need clarity with charity, and that's exactly what Bishop Strickland gives us. Not his personal opinion. Who cares about his opinion? Here's about my opinion. I want to know the mind of Christ. That's what our network is all about. May God richly bless you and the family, and we hope to hear from you again next week, same time, same Christ station. God love you, and thanks again for listening.
Saint Faustina's Prayer for Priests. O my Jesus, I beg thee on behalf of the whole Church, grant it love and the light of thy Spirit, and give power to the words of priests, so that hardened hearts might be brought to repentance and return to thee, O Lord. Lord, give us holy priests. Thou thyself maintain them in holiness. O divine and great High Priest, may the power of thy mercy accompany them everywhere, and protect them from the devil's traps and snares, which are continually being set for the souls of priests. May the power of thy mercy, O Lord, shatter and bring to naught all that might tarnish the sanctity of priests. For thou canst do all things. Amen. Virgin most powerful, pray for us.
Are you looking to have some fun with your family this fall? St. Michael's Catholic Church in McKinney invites all to its Fall Festival on Sunday, October 2nd at the parish. The Fall Festival begins at 10 a.m. Come out and enjoy St. Michael's You've Got Talent Showcase, a cakewalk, kids zone, cultural cuisine, rock climbing, and special guests as well. For more information, visit stmichaelmckinney.org.
Have you ever asked, what does the Knights of Columbus have to offer me? There is something for every Catholic family. Being a Knight of Columbus can mean protection through our life insurance program. It could mean getting involved in your council and parish. It could mean doing more Catholic family activities through our domestic church initiatives. There is something for everyone. Knights of Columbus is the leader in building up our church, and every Catholic man 18 years or older should join today online at knights.net. That's KNIGHTS.net.
Our world is hurting. We all need healing, yet many of us are separated from the very source of our strength. Jesus invites us to return to the source and summit of our faith, His real presence in the Eucharist. The National Eucharistic Revival is a movement to restore understanding and devotion to this great mystery here in the U.S. Join us at the University of Dallas this Saturday, October 1st, for a special event hosted by the National Eucharistic Revival in conjunction with the Diocese of Dallas and UD. Mass begins at 12:05 p.m. at the Church of the Incarnation, followed by adoration, a Eucharistic procession, and benediction.
If you just experienced damages from the most recent severe weather, you need a professional to guide you through the insurance process. Hi, I'm Maury Buford with Buford Roofing and Construction and a proud member of the Guadalupe Radio Network. Please beware of the door-to-door, fast-talking, high-pressure salesmen that insist you sign a contract now. Take your time, weigh your options, and let a professional be your guide. We may be reached at our website, BufordRoofing.com, or by phone at 817-329-ROOF.
Welcome to Back to the Father, a show about the journey of life focused on our final end, which is God Himself, our loving Father. And now here's your host, Dave Palmer.
And thank you so much for joining us for another fun, I hope, and informative episode of Back to the Father here on the Guadalupe Radio Network social media pages. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And we have most of the crew here, and so we're glad that you are with us. And I never realized how long that music bed kind of trailed out. I was like, man, is it ever going to end? It's kind of hard to talk to a music bed. You know, you feel like you got to, I don't know, inflect differently. But anyways, we're glad you're with us. So we always appreciate your comments and questions, and we always, appreciate you having you with us. So welcome to the show. My name is Dave Palmer, host of the program, along with Sissel Anderson, who has a red cap on.
There was a lot of chaos off camera that our viewers did not get to see.
Are you talking about anything in particular, or just
in general? I am chaos off camera and on camera, but I was trying to attach this cute little balloon to my hat, and in the process of trying that, as it fell over many times, I broke the stick off of it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. We had some cookies delivered. We've got a wild and crazy 9-year-old running around the office. This is take your son to work day, and so we'll see how that goes because he is an active little fella. Will that be called a pillbox hat?
I think so. Yeah.
It's kind of Jackie O type of
very
look
Jackie
today.
O.
Okay.
I don't even
all
know
right.
if I'm wearing it right, but hey, we'll take it.
All right. Well, good to have you with us. Thanks for
you.
showing up. It's more than Jonathan von Weber-Hansberg could do. Now,
I mean, I am paid to show up, so I like that you appreciate that. You think that I'm just showing up because I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah, you just you're not. Okay, I thought you did this entirely out of love for the
I'm
St.
joking.
Thomas
I love being here.
And this is that did show up. William Kirkendall. How you doing, William? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. Good to see you too.
All right. Also running our social media sites. Did you see the topic today?
I did. Yes.
All right. You like it?
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I like it.
All right. And you have a trivia question?
One question. Yes.
All right. One question. Never want to overdo it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sissel and I both have said we think our trivia is really good.
Okay. Whoa.
And Sissel and I
Dave
sometimes
said
get
his
a little.
is really good. I like it.
Okay. No. And Sissel said, "Yeah, me too." Didn't you?
I liked mine today. I don't know if it's really good, but I liked
good.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the glass, we have the one, the only, Diane Xavier, serving as producer and board op and babysitter.
I was going to say, I had to add the babysitter in there today.
Triple duty. So, no, my son's awesome. His name is Patrick, and he's a cool kid, and I think he's listening in, and so
we're better glad. Dance moves than all of us.
Oh, my goodness. He can cut the rug. I don't know where he got it, because either Paul or I can dance, but he can cut the rug.
It's really
all right,
fun.
so I went on CDT this morning and previewed the show, and the topic today is truth. Okay, what is truth? And interestingly, that passage from Scripture where Pontius Pilate is, Jesus is being judged, and Pontius Pilate and Jesus are having this conversation, and you ever find it interesting that of all the things that Pontius Pilate could ask, I mean, Jesus says, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life."
He just goes straight for the big question.
Yeah, it's interesting. He says, "What is truth?" And I always find that a very interesting passage in Scripture. That because there was so much going on, and you had the crowd outside, and they're all calling for Jesus to be, and he's like almost getting into this deep philosophical question with Jesus in the midst of basically a riot fomenting outside. So, anyways, that's basically the topic today is what is truth. And did y'all see the okay, let me back up. I think when I say the topic, what is truth, what's the first kind of like attitude or thought that comes to your mind? Like, I want to discuss this, or it's like, I don't know if we can figure out what truth is. I mean, any thoughts come to mind?
I mean, I think if we just rely on the or appeal to St. Thomas Aquinas, I think because St. Thomas was so intelligent and so good at thinking, I mean, we probably can't understand the concept of truth, but I think that since he was so intelligent that he kind of could. Now he's not divine or anything, so he can't know like everything, but I think he could understand it more than we could.
Boy, that was a deeper answer than I thought.
I was like, now I don't know if I should say my answer, because I was literally just thinking, well, it's one of those things where it's really important that we do talk about it, because today it's so confused. Sure. And we have this idea that there isn't like a truth. There's just everyone has their own truth.
Like it's
And
not something objective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very subjective truth, and it's so interesting nowadays. But sometimes you kind of don't want to talk about it because you're getting tired of talking. Because you're like, man, do I have to keep talking about this?
I know. I thought you would. See, okay, what I'm getting at is that what I said in CDT this morning and what I think is true is that I think there's three attitudes that people generally have about talking about truth. And the first one was epitomized in that movie, What is a Woman? Matt, have you seen that yet?
I haven't seen it yet, but
Nope,
I've heard of
I have
it.
not either.
Well, it was one of the most poignant moments in that movie because Matt Walsh is going around and he's talking to all these experts. He's talking to college professors, and most of them are on the other side, and they believe in transgenderism.
Oh, so a little bit more liberal.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, almost everybody he talked to.
okay.
And so I don't know that they knew his angle. I think they probably thought he was more friendly. Clearly, they didn't know who Matt Walsh was.
Yeah.
And so they're going through this interview, and in one particular guy that he's interviewing, Matt Walsh starts talking about, I just want to know what the truth is. What is a woman? And the guy stops and he says, and I'm almost quoting exactly. He said, "You are making me very uncomfortable talking about truth."
Oh my!
I mean, he actually said that.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the first camp. Is the people that just say, I don't think there's a truth. This is kind of making me nervous. It sounds very dogmatic. And they don't even believe there is a truth in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's not talk about it. We're not going to go there. Okay, I doubt anybody in this room, or probably nobody even watching, is in that circle. So that's you?
No.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting because Jesus is in the Bible. It says Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
And some people have a hard time with the name Jesus too. Like the
That's
idea
true.
of that kind of idea. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that it makes people uncomfortable. I think it makes people uncomfortable partially though because people don't want to have those hard discussions about what is truth. Because sometimes truth in like a very different opinion, you could be like, well, that doesn't seem fair. You know what I mean? So you don't want to have to go there. So it's easier just to make up your own thing.
Yeah, I agree. Second camp is what I think most people like in our audience would be, and maybe not this crowd, because this crowd specifically coming to a show about St. Thomas Aquinas, but it's kind of like, yeah, of course there's a truth. We know that. It's so obvious. Those people that don't believe in it are crazy, but let's not just study it and talk about it. And, it's just like, yeah, we know that that's the case.
Like,
right?
yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious. And so what are we going to analyze it? Okay, so that's the second camp. I happen to fall into the third camp.
Whoa, Dave made a third path. There were two roads, and he's like, nope.
So what do you think the third camp is?
Something to do with St. Thomas Aquinas.
Studying it.
Yeah.
You're so bright. No, I think the third camp is that there is a truth. It's been lost in our culture, and we need to talk about it. We need to teach it. We need to have the discussions. And we can't just assume just because there's a truth and we know that there's an objective truth that, it's kind of like we're in two camps and some people don't believe it, some people do, and let's go about our merry way. I think it needs to be taught in schools and all that. So that's kind of the whole basis of this. This first graphic I have has the truth and the number 3 because there are the 3 types of people. I think that kids need to be taught kind of like philosophy of truth. They need to learn Aquinas. They need to learn some of the other opinions about truth and what there is. So we're going to review a few of them today. All right.
Dun,
So,
dun.
and by the way, please comment if you're watching. You can also call in if you'd like. Diane is doing triple and quadruple duty back there. This is going to be the most memorable Back to the Father ever for Diane. It's going to have nothing to do with anything that we say. 877-757-9424. 877-757-9424 if you want to call in.
I have a question. At some point, are we going to go over a really basic definition of truth? I just kicked the trash can, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Because sometimes I feel like when it's already confusing enough in the culture, defining terms is really important.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you're right
Definitions,
about that.
yeah.
Because everyone has like a different idea what they think truth is. So
Yeah.
So we're gonna, and we will by the end of the program. If you said I don't know, I'm still unsure about exactly what truth is.
I don't know if you can blame that one on me. That could be. I mean, that could be blamed just on me, just like my inability to.
Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah.
anyways, are you familiar with the allegory of the cave by
Yes.
Plato? Okay.
I've heard of it a little bit. Haven't studied it too much, but I've heard of it.
If you go to UD, you're going to get this probably freshman year.
All right.
Cecil, you're familiar with it? Have we talked about it?
We have talked about it before.
Okay. I've got now, and those of you watching out there, are you familiar with the allegory of the cave? Because
because I think you've seen that graphic before.
I don't know if we use this exact one or not.
Or similar one.
Yeah, so I want to go over this because it has a lot to do with truth, and I think Plato lived 400 years before Christ. And if you look at this graphic, because I find this really fascinating, Plato believed in kind of like this realm of unchanging, eternal forms, and that what we saw in the world only participated in the real. The real dog is up in the sky somewhere, but these dogs running around just kind of participate in them. So if you look at this picture, you've got these people there on the left. You see they're chained to the. Do you see them there? There's like a wood pillar, and they're chained down, and they're looking at shadows of horses on the wall, right? And then on the other side of the wall, you've got these ladies that are holding figures, and then there's a fire. So it's throwing a shadow onto the wall. Okay. So, and then on the left, I'll get to the right part in a second. Okay. So what Plato said was, this is kind of like us, that we only see a shadow of the truth. Okay, so we're not really seeing a phone here. I'm just seeing something that participates in a phone, but the real phone is up in another realm, right? The ideal form phone, right? And I don't really see a person. The ideal person or the ideal man is up these eternal, unchanging forms, right? So we're chained until we die or until we realize that that's the case. The people on the right, this one guy, he escapes. Okay, so he goes out of the cave, and he actually, for the first time ever, sees things as they are. So he's seeing the truth. Okay, so he sees that sun, he sees the tree, and he's no longer being kind of only seeing shadows, he's seeing the truth. Okay, that's a really important thing to understand the whole concept of truth, because in Christian philosophy, we wouldn't say that truth resides in some, forms up in another realm of, we would say they exist in God, right? So God has the ideal form of everything in his mind because he created them all, right? So Plato got that kind of wrong, but it's a good illustration though, right? So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep, it does.
For sure.
Okay, so that's and that's the first time you've heard about the allegory of the cave? Or had
yeah, now that you mention it and bring it up, I think that is the first time I've heard about the whole truth thing. Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, and then in the 16th century comes along Renee Descartes, and of course we talked about this before. I think therefore I am, and that is problematic because it disregards the body, the senses. That we only know through the intellect without having anything to do with the senses and sense experience. Okay, so that's problematic as well. And then we talked about Immanuel Kant, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Kant had a theory of knowledge where he said the mind imposes its categories on the data of experience. Okay, so it's the phenomenal realm. He says Kant's theory of knowledge, transcendental idealism of critical idealism, he said, we cannot know reality in itself, but only as it is to me. The mind imposed or organizes the raw data of experience according to the categories of space-time and causality. Thus, space-time and causality are not true of the thing in itself, external reality, but are only true of the thing to me. Okay, isn't that interesting? Because what does that sound like? It sounds like relativism, right? So my truth is my. So this guy Kant is a troublemaker. Okay. Are you disappointed in him?
I'm disappointed. Come on, Kant. Should call him Kant instead.
Yeah, Kant. So this is. In fact, I asked. I think it was Dr. Peter Kraft one time, who the most problematic philosophers were of all time.
Was Kant number 1 or 2?
And he said, Kant was, I think, number 1. But most people have maybe heard of the name of Kant, but they don't really know a whole lot about him. They don't know about this.
But the philosophy that he brought forth, I feel like, is known. I don't know, even if you can't put the name on it, You'd
Yeah.
be like, I'm familiar with that. You're
I mean,
like, I've seen that.
Because I mean, it's like totally in the culture today,
Right.
where I got my truth, you got your truth, and so I'm seeing life through my perspective rather than trying to discover what a truth is. Okay, so anyway, so those are some of the things leading up to it, and now we will go into St. Thomas Aquinas, and on the next slide. Interestingly, in the first part of the Summa, Thomas starts off with the very first question is about sacred doctrine, and then he gets into the existence of God, and then he gets into the attributes of God, and that he's perfect and he's simple and good and infinite and all that kind of thing. And then immediately after that, he has a question about ideas. Okay, so as soon as we know like what God is and what God is like, the very, very next thing that's on Thomas Aquinas' mind is ideas. Isn't that interesting? So what are ideas? It's kind of like what Plato was talking about, these ideal forms. And then right after that, question number 16 is truth. Okay, so what is truth? And I am going to let you two talk amongst yourselves. And I don't know if there's any comments, because I'm going to have to step away for just a second. Anyways, yeah. Looks
Okay,
like there are a few comments.
I will
Yeah, do you wanna-
update
yeah,
on
go ahead.
comments
Okay.
while with that. I will buy us some time. So first off, Buddy is joining us on Facebook. So hello, Buddy. It's good to see you again. Or I guess you see us, we see your name. That's what I'm trying to say. That was a little bit off. And then Victor on YouTube, he commented, I think in response to when I was asking about like what is the short definition of truth, and it's in Latin. So bear with me, William, and I want you to try to guess what I'm saying.
All right.
I think you should be able to get at least a few of the word.
All right.
Veritas est it's been a while since I've done Latin. Adequatio intellectus ad rem. Come on, William, you have one guess.
Is somebody talking Latin?
Yeah, I'm glad that you do think it is Latin, because I don't think that came out quite right.
It's got to have something to do with truth, right?
Yes, Veritas is in it. Yes, so
Okay,
truth is.
Veritas. So are you guys trying to figure out what it is?
No, I know what it means.
Well, look at you.
I knew what. No, yes, I just knew, Dave. I knew a few of the words, but I didn't get the exact translation, so I did Google it to make sure I was right. But it's truth is agreement of thing and intellect, which is according to St. Thomas Aquinas.
Oh, wow.
So I told him that that was Victor commented that when I think I was talking about.
Truth is the agreement of thing and intellect. Okay, so interesting, because the Thomas in the very, very first article. Thank you, by the way, Victor. The very first article of question 16 is the question is whether truth resides in the thing or the intellect. Okay. So he is so right, and there's your definition right there.
Yeah, that's.
Okay?
I think when I was talking about that's when he commented it. So I told him that he get a gold star from me.
Why did he do it in Latin?
Because why not?
Because
it's more fun for us to figure it out.
Because Thomas would have written it in Latin.
Exactly.
Okay? I mean,
there you go.
Thomas wrote. I only read the Summa in Latin. I just wasn't sure if Cecil was going to be able to understand that or not. So
I need to. Okay, yeah, never mind.
Okay, so
I think I blocked most Latin from my memory of the many years I did it in school.
Did you not enjoy it?
I didn't enjoy the translations over and over again.
Oh, really? I actually
Do you really like
the
them?
translations. Yeah.
Okay, I think I just got tired of it. Henley Latin was just, I was tired of talking about the Romans going to Gaul over and over again.
Yeah. I did Henley Latin for a couple of years, and I actually really enjoyed translating it.
Okay,
I mean, at first I didn't like it, and then I got used to translating, and it actually started becoming fun towards the end of the year.
All right. Well.
All right. So let's play off of Victor's comment, and I have placing in between the three of us, and so everybody at home can see a cup of water. Okay.
It's a bottle of water, but okay.
Yeah,
we got to be clear about our truth here, Dave.
yeah, you're right. Okay, that is a bottle. See, that's a great point, because I was incorrect.
You called it something.
I called it something incorrect.
Okay, so
there's water right there. Okay, so that is a thing. Okay, and I trust all three of us have intellects. Okay, so we have intellect, and that's a thing.
Questionable day to day.
So Victor says that the truth is conformity between the thing and the intellect. Wasn't that what he said? In so many words?
Yes.
Okay, a conformity between the thing and the intellect.
Agreement of thing and intellect, yeah.
Okay, agreement, yes. So how does that work? Because if in our day and age where everything's relative, somebody says, you know what, I think that's a calculator or a lizard or a snake. And somebody could say, well, your truth is your truth and my truth's my truth. And can't we all just walk away and say we're all right? Okay.
Man, my exams would have been so great if that was my calculator. I've been like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Well, my calculator says the answer was 2.
The most refreshing calculator
right.
ever. Okay. So basically what's happening between our intellect and the thing? Okay. Does truth reside in the thing or does truth reside in the intellect? So what do you think?
I'm going to say intellect.
Okay. It resides in the intellect?
I think so, yeah.
So what do you think?
Well,
Is that thing have the truth of waterness, and we just discover it, or is it in our mind? It's actually kind of hard to explain, but it's the truth in our mind, and then our mind conforms to the reality of the water.
Yeah, like can we just like look at it and know that it's true? Is that kind of what you're saying?
My brain's very confused now. I get what we're saying, but I'm like, I don't know which one's the right answer.
Okay, let me go through this first list of things here, and then we'll discuss it. Okay, so I already said question 16 in the Summa Theologica is on truth. Okay, very, very early on in the Summa. Clearly something that Thomas wanted to get right out in the way in the part about God. So that should give us a clue right now, is that truth didn't come later when we're talking about morals but there's certainly, he touches on truth in various parts of the Summa, but very early on, okay? So right after God's attributes and a question about ideas, is truth in things or in the intellect? Okay, that's what I just mentioned. Okay, that's the very first article in question 16, is truth in things or in the intellect? And then he makes a distinction between the will and the intellect. And he said, the will desires the good, which is in things. So I think we would agree that water is good, right? So the water is good, and it has goodness about it, okay? Okay, but does the water have truth? Okay, so what he's saying is the intellect tends to the true, which resides in the intellect, okay? And now let's try to figure out what he means by this, is that our intellect has the potential to know all things, okay? We have a passive intellect, and so we have the potential to know what water is. And so we have to discover within us the reality of what that is. Okay, so the waterness of it, or the essence of it, resides in us, and then we have to conform our intellect to the reality of what it is.
Right.
Okay, does that make sense?
A little bit.
Totally.
Okay. All right. So and anybody? Okay. So okay. Yeah. Victor corrected me on the bottle thing as well. Okay. Okay, so now let me go on to the next slide, and Thomas says knowledge is according to the thing known being in the knower. Okay, so the thing known, so the knowledge of it is in us. Okay, and again, we have the potential to know all things.
I was pulling again one of those things where it's like not a yes or a no, but a both question to the answer, or is it there an actual?
I don't know that he's doing it in this case. He does it a lot.
He does it a lot, just not in this one. Okay.
Yeah, but he clearly says that the truth is not in the thing.
It's just
okay. The truth is in our intellect. Okay, right. So the intellect conforms to the object understood. Okay, so if the intellect conforms to the object, where does the truth initially exist about that being water? Okay, and I already said it's in the divine mind. Right. Okay, so the truth of the water is in the divine mind, and then since we have intellect, just like God does, if our intellect conforms to the truth of God in one of His creations, then we know the truth. Okay, so the aspect of truth passes from the intellect to the object understood. See, that's an interesting statement because it sounds like it's like something is like moving back and forth or something, doesn't it?
Does.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, based on the intellect on which it depends. Okay, and then Thomas says, a house is true as it is the likeness of the architect's mind. Okay, so this is actually from the Summa. This isn't just an example that I'm making up. Okay, so here's the next graphic shows an architect. Okay, and he's designing a house. Okay, so and then there is the house that he designed. Okay, so he's designing the house, and then the house becomes a reality. But the truth of the house is in the architect's mind, right? So if I come along and say, "Oh, look at that. That's a, it's whatever."
Insert adjective here.
Not adjective, but not a noun.
Oh.
Okay, that's a giraffe.
Oh,
okay?
I thought you were trying to describe the house.
No.
Never mind.
If I get it wrong and I say, "Okay, that's a giraffe," well, you'd have to go back to the architect and say, "What did you create?" And he'd say, "You really think that's a giraffe?" and so he's the guy that created it. Okay, so if you draw a painting and it's, let's say, of your dog, and I
would do that.
Yeah, I could see you doing that. and then I look at it and I was like, you know what? It really looks like, a mouse.
Insulting.
So, but then you would say, no, it's a dog. And if I said, no, it's a mouse, you'd say, no, it's a dog. And then William, being very bright young man, would say, well, Dave, she's the one that created it.
Yeah.
Okay? So even though it looks like a mouse to you, it's a dog because she created it. Okay?
Right.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So funny because I feel like this is exactly what happens with artwork from past times. Is that art historians will look at it and be like, I think this is what he was intending with this painting or whatnot.
Yeah.
So
right, and so it kind of makes sense though. It makes sense that so now you see where this is going, right? So and again, I don't have all the answers, but I want to discuss this. Is that how do we get this into, especially I'm very big on teaching this to kids. So I think this is something a child can understand. I mean, the whole architect house, and it's not a giraffe, it's a house. Don't you think a typical 6-year-old could understand that?
Especially since when they get frustrated, when they show a picture to their parents, they're like, hey, I made this. And the parent is like, that kind of looks more like this. And they're like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yes, okay. They're like, this is a spider. They're like, that looks like a caterpillar. And they're like, no, it's a spider.
Right. Yeah. Now, I guess the question some wiseacre could say was, what if a kid drew what clearly was a cat, and he says, "Oh, that's a piano."
Piano. Okay.
Okay. So that's where it gets a little confusing.
Yes.
But I guess you'd have to say God will not mislead.
Right.
Because that
God would
be,
not make that mistake of, intending to draw, an animal and making it a piano. That doesn't happen.
So now,
as far as I know.
Okay, let me go to the next slide, and then we'll have an open discussion about all this. Okay, we got to figure out how we're gonna teach this to people and change the culture one back to the Father episode at a time. Okay, so he says perfection of the intellect is truth as known, composing, and dividing. Okay, now composing and dividing has to do with the way that the human person comes to know things, is that we learn as we go along. And we also learn through our senses. Thank you, Descartes. We don't know things only through the intellect. We know things like if you didn't have senses, you would not have known that there was water there, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still confused?
Occasionally, yes. But it's okay. It's okay. I'll catch up. I'll catch up eventually.
Okay, so truth is found in the intellect as it apprehends a thing as it is. Okay, so now this is the key, as it is. So how do we know what it is? Because it's in the mind of the divine mind, right?
Right.
So God creates all things. He gets, just like Sissel drawing the picture of the dog, she gets to determine whether it's a dog or not the person looking at it. Okay, so God is truth. Truth conforms to the divine intellect and the thing understood. And so we have to conform our intellect to what is in the divine intellect in realizing what a thing is. Okay, I don't know if does that make sense? It's kind of confusing, I admit, but but if you're going back to Victor's definition, where he said he didn't say conformity. What was the word he used?
Agreement, I think was the word.
The agreement between the intellect and the thing. Okay, an agreement would mean that there's concord, and there isn't, it's not up for dispute, that we clearly know what something is and we've identified it properly. All right, so then the question is, if this is the kind of how truth is, why has the culture gone so wacky and done things like I can be a woman, I can be we can just kind of change things. There's all truth is relative. I don't want to talk about the truth. Why would that be the case?
Yeah, I think it's different for some people. Some people like, I think I said this on my very first Back to the Father show when we were talking about back in June what Thomas would have thought of Pride Month. And I said some people know better and are just doing it because they have an evil mind, and some people just don't know better. Maybe some people don't. They've just, like what they're teaching in schools these days. Like they're growing up thinking that they're a girl when they're actually a boy, and so they're innocent, but they're being taught to think something that's not true about themselves. And other people, maybe like the teachers teaching them, are doing it because their mind is evil and they're trying to pervert kids into thinking the opposite. That's kind of how I look at it. Some people are innocent at first and they just grow up thinking that, and some people are trying to do it to the innocent. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't disregard Descartes and the kind of thing that you're talking about, because if I think, therefore I am, that's only my mind, and I can be anything I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be a rabbit, I can be an orangutan, because there's absolutely no mention of the body, no mention of the senses, and so it's this beautiful composite of matter and form that has been part of Catholic teaching forever. I mean, every sacrament has matter and form. Yeah. It's
like I can think that I can do 100 pull-ups, but the reality is I can't even do one, and that's going to be found out eventually.
Yeah, right.
I can pretend, I can be like, yeah, I can do that, or yes, I can do this, and it's eventually going to, catch up with me.
Yeah, but if you said I can do 100 pull-ups, we can say, oh, okay, well, there's a bar right there.
Yeah, and you can
Go
do
ahead
it.
and
Yeah,
do it.
exactly.
And
with some of these things you can't.
But with like transgenderism, if somebody says, clearly with male anatomy, I'm a woman, what are they saying? That it's only in my head,
Right?
And so you've got Descartes there. It's only I think, therefore I am. I mean, you could finish that sentence. I think, therefore I am a woman. I think, therefore I am a a platypus. And then you get Kant's influence of saying that basically we impose our. How was that? How was that put on that screen? Let me go back to that. So here's Kant. I don't know if you can get to it or not. He says, we cannot know reality in itself, but only as it is to me. The mind imposed or organizes the raw data of experience according to the categories of space, time, and causality. And the causality are not true of the thing in itself, but are only true of the thing to me. Okay, so in that regard, like basically what Kant did was, instead of the truth residing, to Aquinas, the truth resides in God, ultimately. To Plato, the truth resides in this other realm, right? He didn't identify it necessarily as God, but it's some other realm and he didn't. I don't know if Kant was an atheist or if he had any kind of Christian upbringing. He grew up in Germany, and I think it was like the 19th century, so probably had some kind of Christian background, but I don't know exactly what his faith life was like. But whatever he did, it was definitely problematic.
Victor, by the way, commented that his thought about today is it's a denial of reality is what's going on with truth today with people.
Denial of reality.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, but why would you deny reality? I mean, what would be the motivation?
Right. Yeah. I mean, unless they want to, I guess. I mean, the only example I can think of is using your imagination to wish that this thing was true, but in reality, it's not. Like, they want that wish to be so, but it's not. Maybe it's like a fight between reality and your imagination. What you want to be true,
and especially if it's like originally started with maybe some people who had hard lives or hard things that happened to them, and so it's a defense mechanism almost to protect themselves. Like if a girl was severely abused, she might want to be a man because then she feels like she can protect herself.
Yeah. But just like you objectively speaking cannot do 100 pull-ups. somebody needs to say, objectively speaking, you cannot ever be a man, but no, very few people in our culture are willing to do that because the whole idea of truth has been lost. And, but as you can see, I mean, it's harder than you think to explain, but what if there are these kind of conversations, like in my daughter's school, they have Socratic Dialogues. This is the kind of stuff that Socrates used to do, is that he would travel around Athens and he'd get into conversations with people. And he'd try to, every answer would have another question. Okay, so could you imagine, talking to school kids and just bringing up, the question, what is this? Oh, it's a phone. Yeah. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know it's a phone? How do you know? I think it's a lizard. And then what would the kids say? Well, no, it's a phone. Well, why? And
right. Yeah, kids are like, well, we don't usually go that far. I don't usually think like that.
But what they're basically admitting is that there is, to go back to Victor's point, there is an agreement between their intellect and the thing. Yeah. But they're not even thinking about the fact of what just happened in their brain. Right. So then when you say, okay, but somebody thinks, Sally can be a boy, well, the average 6-year-old would say, no, that can't happened, because the same reason that this is a phone and not a lizard, right? And so I don't know, I think you got to teach logic young, because by the time you get older, you've never learned how to think.
And also in the culture, we like you said, God is truth, like that's objective, and so when people lose God in the culture, they're losing the truth, because the truth and God are together. So
good point. That's a really good point, is that it really needs to be said, and of course you said it, is that if the truth resides in God and God is truth, and if there's confusion about truth, then you need to know God.
We need to bring God back.
Yeah, exactly. You said it better than me, but
Victor also
no, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Victor also commented, unsatisfaction. They want satisfaction, but only God. In God will we find that.
Yeah,
so, that's true.
All right. Well, thank you, Victor, for that comment. So going back to William's point, okay, so now we're in the culture that's really confused about what truth is. Truth, God is truth. The truth resides in God. Our intellect has to conform and agree with the object according to our conformity to the divine intellect. All right. Well, let's learn about God. Okay. So, but that's what Thomas spent the first 15 questions of the Summa doing, right?
We've already done this.
I mean, so that's, again, going back to what I said before, the order is extremely important. He's saying, okay, first of all, there's sacred doctrine. Question number 2, does God exist? Yes. Interestingly, he says, there's an article that says, is the existence of God self-evident? And he says, no. Okay, because self-evident would mean you know it even without the use of the senses. Yeah. Okay, so without seeing the effects of God, without seeing the bird and the sunrise and human person, and if you just you just know that there's a God. And to that he said no. But it's only when we our senses are activated and we can see the world and see the effects of God, that we can know that there's a God even without additional divine revelation. All right. Well, that was kind of an interesting conversation. I kind of enjoyed that. Yeah. So now, do you feel like you've had a satisfactory answer, thanks to Victor, about what truth is?
Yeah, thanks to Victor.
Yeah. I wish Victor would do all his messages. Hey, that was a little bit of a slam there, wasn't it?
I was waiting for you to catch on.
I was like, wait a second. What are you talking about? All right, so the summary statement of
this is the
today.
Thesis statement of the show.
Thesis statement is we need to, and in fact, you'll be so proud of me. You'll be so proud of me. No, this is it. Okay, so I my last slide here. Okay, I said basically, okay, the key is we got to know God. Okay. Yep. That's the bottom one. God with his finger reaching out, kind of like Michelangelo. All right, kind of a poor. What is it? I'm sorry. What?
I thought of E.T. when I saw that picture.
Oh, is that E.T.? That's not E.T. Well, E.T. imitated Michelangelo, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's a very obvious.
It's just for a second with this galaxy behind it. It looks very E.T.
Okay, so we need to pray. We need to have a relationship with God. We got to get to know God, and He will, reward us for the effort of, seeking Him through prayer. But we also need to study, and we need to learn what God is, okay? Like His 7 attributes, which we all have memorized, right?
His simplicity.
Okay, simplicity. So he's simple.
He's good.
He's good. What? Oh, don't do a search.
Hold on a second.
No.
Hang on a
Okay.
second.
Let's
hang
see.
on.
I wonder if Victor knows these.
Hang on. So, wait, hold on. So
Certainly
he's
Victor.
good. Is he
Okay.
just? Is that part of? Is that one of the
Well,
attributes?
he
Not
is.
officially.
But, okay, so Thomas spends, like the first part after what I told about. The question 3 is God's simplicity.
Right.
Question 4 is his next attribute, which is not goodness. Question 4 is his.
Wait, is he love? Is that one of them?
No.
Or is that
No.
that's wrong?
Okay,
That's
but he is love. But that.
No, I'm just thinking of
okay.
random Bible verses now.
Okay, no, you're so Protestant.
I know.
So he is simple. He is the second attribute is perfect.
Oh,
Okay,
duh.
he's perfect. And now, interestingly, Thomas, before going on to the third attribute, which is his goodness, which Cicero mentioned, he says, "Is goodness the goodness in general?" Is question number 5. So what he's saying is that before I say that God is good, God is goodness, we're going to say that goodness is found in the world. Okay. And then he also says goodness and being are basically synonymous terms, right? So if something exists, it's good. We've talked about that. All right. So then after goodness, it's infinity.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
God is infinite.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then where am I at? God is immutable. All right.
Oh, yeah.
God is eternal. And God is one. Okay, so those are the 7. And he does get in all these other things that you mentioned. God is mercy. God is love. God is, God is. I mean, God's existence himself. God is existence itself.
Yeah. Is this our show next week?
That God is existence. See, William always wants to program the next show.
Yeah, he honestly, from a marketing perspective, he's quite smart to do that. To like say, by the way, tune in next week when we talk about blah.
That's right.
Or not
That's
blah.
right.
We'll talk about actually something, but insert
So,
topic.
anyways, all right. So, any final comments before we get into trivia? Victor, thank you for your comments. And for everybody else who's watching, thank you for watching as well. And always let us know that you're out there, and we appreciate any feedback that you can give us. But, I think even if you have a conversation about this stuff, and you're just trying to kind of wrestle through it and figure it out. And that's one of the things that, I don't like to come across as like, oh, I'm Mr. Expert, I know all about this. I just like talking about it. I like at least presenting what Thomas says and say, let's try to figure this out. Let's look at what Thomas's actual words. And that's what, I get the most out of the Summa.
Yeah.
So anyways, anything else? Good contribution,
so.
William.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you.
stuff. Pretty good contribution there. No, I had to get her back. She's razzing me about Victor doing better than me, which he did, by the way.
So I just said the truth, Dave.
That's right. You conformed your intellect to the thing.
Yes,
And
I
the
did.
thing was that Victor,
Yep.
explained it very well.
See, Victor answered my question, and we just went on a really long. You gave the extended version.
Yeah, right.
He gave me like the Spark Note version.
I gave you the scenic route.
Yeah, exactly. He took me on the tollway.
No, the express lane. Yeah,
Express
yeah,
lane.
express lane. Right. Okay. No, enough metaphors. We'll move on. All right. Thanks everybody, and we are going to go ahead and transition.
It's that time of the show where we give Dave Summa to think about, and he gives it right back. Truth edition. Because before we've never been very true, of course, whatever your trivia.
No commentary.
No.
Okay, so we'll go in the regular order
right,
with
that's fine.
William.
Yeah.
With is 1 not to exceed.
Youngest
not to
to
exceed.
oldest.
Yeah. Hey, is that ageism?
Yes. Sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
Don't hold it against me. Okay, William.
right,
It
so-
better be good. When you only have one question, it better be good.
One question. Okay, so it's an easy one, but it's also a little bit of a trick question. So this one's going to be a little weird.
It's a first
I feel
come,
like-
first serve.
First, yes.
I feel
just
like you're sending mixed messages.
Yes.
It might seem like that, but yeah. So just whoever can shut it out first. So the question is, and if there is, could name him or her. Is there anyone besides Jesus who? Or hold on.
Rephrase.
Yeah. Is there anyone besides Jesus who never told a lie before?
Mary.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
And we got it exactly at the same
I
time.
would like to play that audio back and just hear exactly
Now,
how fast that
are you
was.
saying that in the history of the world, there's no? How about every baby that dies?
Victor also got it right, by the way.
What about like a baby who dies in the womb? It never told a lie.
Oh.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess the
Or like a severely
Dave just wants bonus points over here. He's
like
just
a
going
severely retarded person. I shouldn't say retarded is not the best word, but mentally challenged person that
never told a lie before.
Yeah.
You're saying?
But some people can't speak; they're mute.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
that,
true.
that list is expanding.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it is. I was not
William's
expecting
hang
that.
on a second.
I was not expecting that.
Listen, William, you're going to get challenged on all your trivia questions. That's just how this works
Hey,
here.
William did so much to collaborate and help out with the show today. And what do I do in return? I start shooting down his question, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
You
I
guys,
have.
talk amongst yourself.
Oh.
I can't miss that. Talk about something else.
For anyone who's tuning in just right now, today's a little bit of a special show because Dave has his little son with him today, and so he's pulling multiple duties right now, being a Thomist, a dad.
And Diane's bringing him down to the boys' room.
The boys'
let's
room,
just
got
say,
it.
okay?
Got it. Understood.
All right. I did not want to miss this trivia
All right.
because Cecil said it's really good.
Well, you also messed up the way I was going to do it too. If I only had, sorry, William. If it was just William, it would have been not as fun.
Wait, can I ask one question about your trivia?
Yes.
Does it have to do with music or movies?
It always
Partially
does.
does. Like
so.
it's about, I guess, culture.
Okay.
You've got her pegged, don't you?
Yes.
Listen, I try to keep things balanced here.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Also, by the way, Victor was saying you can lie without speaking. You can nod your head, or is that wrong? He's wondering. What do you think?
You can nod your head.
So, someone could ask you a question if you're mute, and you could technically lie.
Say
Did you spill the milk, Sissel? And I'd be like,
right.
nah, bro.
No, you wouldn't say no, bro. You just nodding, right? No. Okay. Okay. Well, that may eliminate the mute.
Yeah.
In defense of William's question.
Yeah, but not the baby in the
unborn.
womb.
Yeah.
The
right.
unborn. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, this is going to be, I think, good trivia for everyone because you have a 50-50 chance of getting it right or wrong.
Wow.
Because I'm doing true or false questions.
I did too.
Hopefully we didn't do the same ones.
Man.
Originally I had this great idea that if you've ever played the game Buzzword, it's where you have to have a buzzword that's in a bunch of idioms and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that they'd have one for truth, but I wasn't able to find it. So
I did the exact same
Did you?
thing. I hope. I hope
this
we
will
don't
be
have the same
entertaining.
thing.
Well, I just found a list and I have 10 questions.
So do I.
Wow.
You know what? I would just like to remind everyone who's watching. Give Dave something to think about was my idea, was my game first. Dave was never supposed to come with trivia.
Yeah, you were just supposed to throw it back at me, right?
He had asked us all these difficult questions all show long. I was like, well, I want to start asking questions back.
So we did exactly the
believe
same. Wouldn't it be funny if we had the same list?
If we do, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I doubt we do.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them one at a time to each of you. So only Dave would be answering, only William will be answering, and then if we need a tiebreaker, I have more questions.
That sounds good.
You keeping score?
Yes.
Okay.
I say that as I have no pen. I found a pen. Haha. All right. So let me write Dave, or D and W. Okay. So I'm going to ask this one to William first.
Okay.
Abraham Lincoln had no middle name. True or false?
False.
True.
Oh.
All right,
now,
Dave.
Okay.
It's not the same list, right?
No,
These are really random things.
So far, that is not on my list, right?
Germany drinks the most beer in the world per person. True or false?
True.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
False. The Czech Republic drinks the most
Really?
beer.
Okay.
By the way, Victor's like Abraham Abe Lincoln is his name.
Yeah.
I think that counts. I
Wait,
think that.
did you say he has?
No, he has no nickname.
He has no middle name.
No middle name.
Okay.
That's
He
right.
has nicknames.
He has plenty of nicknames. Yes.
Yeah, Honest Abe.
Okay, William. Nemo from Finding Nemo is a pufferfish. True or false?
False.
Yes, William
got
was
it.
on the board.
He's a what do they call?
He's a clownfish. He's a clownfish.
Right.
All right. Wow, Dave. William's beating you right now.
By 1 point.
That's like if one football team drives down and scores a touchdown. Yeah, they're beating me, but I haven't had the ball
Okay.
yet.
Right.
Dave.
Okay.
John Lennon's middle name, John Lennon of the Beatles fame, middle name was Edward. True or false?
True.
False. Oh, God. I was going to give you a bonus question if you could guess what it actually is. Do you know?
John Paul?
Nope. His name, well, although interesting, Paul McCartney was Paul John McCartney, but it's Winston, after Winston Churchill.
Oh,
John Winston Lennon.
Is that right?
Interesting.
So if anyone, I don't know if anyone
So
ever
now
knew that.
I am losing.
Yeah, now he's definitely losing.
Just for the.
By the way, William's winning. Actually, I think in reality so far.
No. That is the truth.
That is the truth.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
I have conformed my intellect to that.
William,
to
this one
that
is
thing.
entertaining. Broccoli was once banned from the White House. True or false?
True.
You are right.
All right.
Do you know who did it?
Which president?
Yeah.
Could you give me like a
It
hint,
was
like
in
a
the
time
last
period?
30 years.
Last 30 years. Okay. Was it?
Ooh.
Oh, was
The
it?
last 40 years.
Hold on. last 40.
Now all you gotta do is go back 30 years.
I math badly.
Was it the last 40 years? Okay, so was it I can't.
She gave it away. It had. Can I guess? Oh.
I got one.
Sure,
answer.
go for
What
it.
is it? LBJ?
No.
No. Okay.
Okay. Well, see, 30 years ago would have been 92. So then there'd be a president in probably the 90s or 80s. So it's either going to be Reagan, Clinton, or Bush, without a doubt. And I'm going to go with Bush Sr.
You are correct. George H.W. Bush.
Right.
See,
In 1990, he claimed that broccoli would no longer be in the White House.
Oh, wow.
And I do want to know the context. I did not find that out. Or maybe there is no context. He got mad at broccoli one day, and I guess that's the benefits of being the president.
I
is
can
you get to-
relate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got mad.
My second guess was going to be Clinton. I guess that wasn't it.
Nope. Well, I said 30 years ago, and then I realized it was 2022, and I was like, whoa, that was.
a long
I know.
time
It
ago.
goes by
that was
fast.
Whoa. Okay. For Dave.
Okay, so
By the way, in case anyone at home is wondering, it's William 2, Dave 0. William 3.
No, I got one.
No, you
I got my first one. No, I
No,
missed
you
that.
didn't.
No, I missed
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Wait,
so
wait.
he has two and I have
Yes,
zero?
wait, no, I think.
No, I
yeah, he has two.
never got one. You're right.
All right,
We
and then-
both missed our first one.
Okay, Dave.
And then I missed my second one. In case you're confused. Okay.
Pinocchio was the first animated full-color Walt Disney feature film. True or false?
True.
False.
Are you serious?
It was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh, gosh. I'm not very good at this, am I?
Wow.
But I get revenge. Because I'm going to do the same thing right back.
William, I'm so proud of you right now.
Because he got two,
You're
I got
literally
zero.
just guessing too, I bet, most of the time.
Most of the time, yes.
That's great. Okay. Sorry. Porcupines, the cute little
Yeah,
creatures that can
we know
poke you to
porcupines
death,
Yeah.
can float. True or false?
False.
No, true.
No, true. It's true. Oh, wow.
All right, I know.
Is this the last one?
No, I was 5 for each of you, so we're not done yet.
okay.
You,
Oh, okay.
you have more chances. Okay,
All right.
golf balls.
I hit a nerve. Okay, golf
Balls have those little dimples on them. How many? Are there 100? True or false on the golf ball? 100 little dimples.
False.
True. No, false. I'm sorry, I misread the question. False. He's got a point.
Oh,
Sorry.
there's more than that.
Per the Department of Physics at the University of Illinois, there are between 300 and 500.
Wow.
I don't know
Okay,
why that had to come from the physics department.
So I love how you turned it into a true-false question. There's 100. True or
My
false?
bad. My bad.
Okay.
Okay. Before becoming queen, Queen Elizabeth was a mechanic. True or false?
Queen Elizabeth the First?
Second.
Second. Okay. False.
True.
Oh, it's true.
Before when she was in the war, she helped with the war
I can
force.
tie the game with this one.
You could.
Okay.
All right.
I
Okay,
can
ready?
tie the game.
All of the kings in a standard deck of cards have a mustache. True or false?
False.
Correct.
Oh!
We might have to have a tiebreaker if you get this wrong.
Okay.
All right. This is your chance, William.
All right.
I thought that. So we still. Okay.
I've lost count, honestly. At this
Yeah.
point. No, that was the last question.
Yeah.
You tied it up, so I do need one more question. I have one question.
Okay.
I'm just going to say it.
And whoever gets it right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
In some states, it is illegal to eat specific foods while walking backwards.
False.
Yes, true.
True.
Oh!
By the way,
The comeback of the century.
you may not eat donuts and walk backwards in Marion, Ohio. You may not eat peanuts and walk backwards during a concert in Greene, New York. And you may not walk backwards while eating a hamburger in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. In case you're wondering, now you won't go in jail because of it.
All right.
Really?
You're welcome.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so with an eye on the time, we're gonna do this. Let's see. Okay, we'll do a lightning round real quickly. Okay.
right.
Let's see. How do we? Yeah. So you just both say your answer.
By the way, Lori was getting a lot of these correct, including Snow White.
Okay. Is that Lori?
Lori Powell.
Okay. Okay. So you both just say your answer, and then I'm gonna keep going. Okay. True or false? Lightning is seen before it's heard because light travels faster
True.
than sound.
True.
Okay, so you both got it.
We passed science class.
Okay. True or false? Melbourne is the capital of Australia.
False.
False.
Okay.
Sydney.
It's Canberra.
Canberra. Oh, that's right.
Okay. Number 3. The skull is the strongest bone in the human body.
False.
False.
Wow. You guys aren't kidding.
I don't remember what it is, but it's not that.
No, it's the thigh bone.
Oh.
Okay. Question number 4. Google was initially called back rub.
False.
False.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
Back rub.
Well, that's why they didn't get off the ground originally.
So you're still tied.
Oh,
Still
wow.
tied.
All right.
Number 5. Mercury's atmosphere is made up of carbon dioxide.
True.
True.
False.
Oh.
It
Okay, we failed one science class.
It has no atmosphere at all.
Oops.
Okay. Number 6. You can sneeze while you're asleep.
False.
I think.
Oh, wait.
True.
False.
Oh, dang it.
When you're in REM sleep, the nerves that help you sneeze are at rest too. Okay, so
Well, that's good to know.
So William is up by 1.
I wish that could happen while you're driving.
Okay, and you're 1 behind, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, just in case you're
FYI.
in case. Okay, number 7, 4 to go. Scallops can't see.
True.
False.
False.
Yes.
Oh,
Scallops have 200 eyes that function like a telescope.
That's disturbing on so many levels.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're back to
Wow.
tie. Number 8. A chicken can live without a head.
Yeah,
long
true,
after it's chopped off.
True.
All right.
We both read a story apparently at some point.
Okay. You really think that's true, don't you, Cecil? Okay. Number 9. Humans share 95% of their DNA with bananas.
False.
I really hope that's false. Is it true?
What do you say?
I said I really hope it's false.
But what do you say?
False.
Okay, false. Yeah, we share 60%.
No, it still doesn't leave me with much comfort, but
Okay, last one, and I don't have any extras. True or false? It takes 9 months for an elephant to be born. The gestation period, 9 months.
True.
like 9 months in the womb?
9-month gestation period. Yeah,
False.
True.
Okay, so you say true, you say false. It is the last question. So there's going to be a winner here. Okay.
Okay.
Is anybody guessing at home?
Yeah, I want to see. Lori
we
says
got
false.
more people watching right now than we had the entire show. You guys don't come for Thomas. You come for the trivia. Isn't that interesting?
That's really funny.
Okay. The answer is, I love watching Sissel in suspense. She is like so nervous right now. It is false. Elephant babies are born after 22
Yes, I thought
months.
it was really long.
okay.
It's almost 2 years. I think women should carry babies that long.
Oh, yeah.
Just my.
Every woman just left. Yeah, Lori knew it. She knew it was 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Good job.
Yeah, boy. All right, so if you're counting at home, young William lost. He
Took the lead early, but comebacks from both of y'all.
He was doing holding his own, though. It wasn't like a landslide.
Yeah,
so.
true.
kind of a choke artist, aren't you? All right. Okay. Well, hey, I hope you learned something.
Even if it's the elephants and how long they're pregnant for.
Didn't learn anything about truth, but you did learn about.
Hey, that isn't a true fact.
Elephant gestation periods.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Diane. I really thank Diane because Diane really worked hard this one, like she's never done before. Thank you, William. Thank you, Sissel.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for watching. God bless you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week, God willing, for the next Back to the Father.
Thanks for joining us for Back to the Father. And don't forget, the glory of God is the human person fully alive. If you have comments about the show, email Dave Palmer at grnonline.com.